Kiki Mclean is Democratic strategist who worked on the Hillary Clinton campaign in 2008. And Joe Watkins is an MSNBC political analyst and the director of Hill Solutions, a government consulting firm. Kiki, let me start with you. I mean, you just heard my premise. Do you agree with that? That it's not a matter of who's more conservative or liberal? It's just that the town is so much more conservative than it used to be?
See, I just have to break your whole measuring stick that you've got against this, and it's about the labels. You know, I worked for Bill Clinton when he was the chairman of the Democratic Leadership Council, and he was governor of Arkansas, and that was a time within the party when everyone in the Democratic Party, or maybe outside the party, said, no, he's too conservative to be a Democrat. I think the question is the labels you're applying don't apply to either of these men. Both of these men have led, and clearly President Obama will continue to lead for the times that they're in, but I think you're using antiquated labels that don't represent not only who they are and what they do, but they're both known for breaking ground and doing what's right and moving forward, as opposed to saying, I'm only for liberal things or I'm only for conservative things.
Yeah, I mean, you got to characterize them somehow. I'm telling you that it's confusing which one it is. Is it conservative? Is it liberal, etc.?
But Cenk, why does it have to be on those labels?
Bill Clinton is not a Republican. I mean, we got to be honest here. Bill Clinton is not a Republican guy. He's a Democrat, and he was a very popular Democrat. He served 2 terms. He didn't get 50% in the first election in '92 because, as you recall, Ross Perot was in the race, and so Ross Perot was a spoiler, and you remember that very, very well. But Bill Clinton was more of a centrist. Some people even say more of a conservative Democrat than the president that we currently have. And you know, time has a way of course, mellowing out people. Bill Clinton now you see oftentimes with former President George H.W. Bush. You sometimes see him with George W. Bush, and he's much more of a kumbaya character now in his post-presidential years. But at the same time, we have to remember that what fires voters up today is whether or not they have money to spend, whether or not they're working. And as long as you have unemployment nationally at 9.6% and in some states in double digits, you're going to have a lot of angry Americans, and they're going to be voting against the people that are responsible for it. Those are incumbents and those are Democrats, and those people are going to feel it on Election Day.
Joe, let me stick with you for a second. Look, it's not just the unemployment numbers, it's also the conservative media. Because when Clinton was around, as Chuck Todd was just saying, I mean, they you know, and I was saying, they pummeled him. They went after him day in and day out. Now that Obama's in charge, they pummel him. And so it's a matter of who Fox News is more angry at that gets people riled up.
It is true that some news organizations are accused of having a bias one way or the other. The reality is that when you're the president of the United States, and I worked in the White House for a U.S. president, it's hard to find anybody that's terribly complimentary. You work your tail off, you try to do the best you can for the American people, but ultimately what the people care about are the results, the numbers, whether or not they're working, whether or not they have money to spend. That's what matters to them. And they really want their president to be results-oriented. They want the members of Congress to be results-oriented. And if they feel that Congress is spending too much money and growing the size of government, they're going to respond with their votes.
All right,
you know, it's interesting because I think Joe and I agree here on something, and it's really about results. And I can remember in the earliest days of his presidency, and President Clinton would say, change does not come easy. Both President Clinton and President Obama have pushed forward tremendous change. And when you push change, and you can label it however you want, Cenk, but when you push change, you spend your political capital down. Barack Obama has pushed significant change, and change which has, frankly, kept us from going into a full-fledged depression, kept our financial system afloat, and now we're going to hopefully see the next steps of what that change, the fruit of that change, which is beginning to decrease unemployment, create more jobs, move us forward, have families protected in health care, because at the end of the day, it's like President Clinton said in that clip, this election is about a choice. It's not a choice between Bill Clinton and somebody he ran against, or Barack Obama, or somebody who wants to run against him. It's a choice about, do you want what you had in the past with the unparalleled spending without any reason to run, or do you want to move forward?
I don't agree. And I don't think the American people agree that we've had so much change. You see a Washington Post poll out today. There's many different polls that say he should have done more. A recent Gallup poll by a 2-to-1 margin said that they should have had more change in health care reform, not less change. So, you know, my problem is I see Bill Clinton, as I see Obama, the problem is they're too conservative. They stick too much to what the health insurance companies want, the drug insurance companies want. Clinton did it too, and so does Obama.
Well,
Cenk,
let me put it this way: if you want to see more people hired, you have to make sure that what you're doing legislatively benefits people who can hire folks. And so, if you punish the job creators, the small business people who create jobs,
it's not small business people, Joe. It's not small business people. Only 3% of the top tax cuts go to the small business people. Kiki, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to stop the yelling, because I do think that's what people are tired of. I think the labels are what people are tired of. I think Joe is raising something important. Do things that are going to help our economy grow and create jobs. That's why President Obama pushed through the tax breaks for small business. Republicans stood on the sideline. These are the kinds of examples that really make it clear the choice we've got. You're talking about a group of Republicans who wish Bill Clinton was back in office because there were Republicans who, as much as they fought him, worked with him, unlike John Boehner, who will not work with President Obama, who stood on the sidelines with Mitch McConnell and said, we just won't have anything to do with you at all.
Well,
so what have they done to make
Democrats
things better,
have to just
Joe?
own up to what's happening right now. Here's what happens. Democrats have to own up to what's happening right now. Republicans did. Republicans lost in 2006 and again in 2008 because they didn't do what the voters sent them there to do, which is to make it better for all of us, to put people back to work, to lower the burden of taxes. Democrats have come into office. They've had 2006, had 2008, and they've raised taxes. They've made it more difficult. We've got nearly 10% unemployment. All right, all right, Cenk.
Thank you. I'm going to give Joe's got to have the last word there. Kiki Mclean and Joe Watkins, I thank you both for the conversation. Really appreciate it.